Tremor F350 Power Stroke in here, and yeah, he's having some issues with his auto locking hubs, folks. Have you heard of or had issues with your auto locking hubs on a 2020 and up? F250, 350, 450, 550, I suppose. So yeah, if you have it turned in auto, the truck actually sends vacuum and pressurizes this chamber in here. I've checked that chamber. It does hold pressure when you hook up a Mighty Vac to it. This one here is leaking. It won't even pressure up at all to 1 psi. So obviously you've got an O-ring here. I could soap around the outside as I was pressuring it up and not get any bubbles here. We've had some other trucks with issues where it's this seal here. It's actually a two-piece seal. This is the Ford Motor Company seal, original equipment. Here's your part number. It comes with some other components in there as well. But this seal is a two-piece seal, and it reminds me of the old Chevy rear axle seals, 710 568, which is a two-piece seal. It locks in around the shaft here and then presses into the hub here, and so it makes the seal good here, it makes the seal good here, but then it wants to leak internally. And what I've noticed is they pack them with grease from the factory. We're seeing maybe small filings getting in there from the pressing in action. There's also a certain depth that this needs to be set to. Ford is telling you make sure you set that depth, and I'm seeing that depth to be right at 20 millimeters. So when the seal gets pressed onto the axle shaft and then the axle shaft gets installed here, that's when you need to finish pressing it on to a certain depth. As you can see, that's not actually pressed on all the way flush, where normally you just bottom the seal out. They're not bottoming it all the way out. So I'm not gonna bottom it out either. I'm gonna pack it with some extra Sil Glide. I'll show you what that is. It's made for rubber O-rings and grommets. I use it a lot. There it is, Sil Glide. Okay, lubricating compound, O-ring assembly, weather stripping, brake parts, brake boots, seals. It has a decent temperature resistance to it. We're not super concerned about heat here, but high film strength, water repellent, stays put. So effective room from -20 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Prevents freezing, rust, sticking, harmless to rubber is the important part, not a petroleum-based product. So we'll get going on swapping the seal. These seals can be a bit of a bugger to get out. I see people struggle with them quite a bit. Really, you just got to think leverage, on blue, yeah, and big pry bars. I use one of the Snap-on longer pry bars. I've got kind of a construction style or carpenter style demo bar here, if you will. And I pry on the back side and then just pop it out. And obviously, I've pried a little bit harder before this here. Here it comes. So I'm paying real close attention to the seal, and obviously it was sealing up good around here. It's pressed onto the shaft and sealing there. It's leaking in between here. So, pull the whole thing out. I want to keep things nice and clean. When I put the shaft back in, I'm going to put Sil Glide in this area to ensure that that seal that's deep inside that tube there will definitely seal up, and we won't have gear oil seeping out when we're done. Yeah, just keeping things clean. We're gonna get this puppy removed off of here. I'll set it up in the vise and get this pressed off of here, and a new one pressed on. I'll take you with me. really good, not regular grease, Sil Glide, not petroleum based, right? So it keeps squeezing out there. It's really good and full, but I'm wondering about the back side here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some in there while I'm here. I don't think it can hurt. It might sling out a little bit. That's all right. That seal out yet, as I want to install it in here and use their little seal installer tool and make sure it's 20 millimeters in, right? Back in the housing, what we've got here are a couple more packages that come with the actual Ford seal, which is nice about using the Ford seal versus like the Spicer seal. It's not going to come with all your O-rings and extra snap ring. A lot of people struggle with getting this off, so having a new one of these is nice. Also having a new pair of snap-on snap ring pliers is good. I was able to walk on the truck yesterday and grab those on account, which is nice. This also comes with new bolts that have Loctite on them for the four-wheel drive hub. And I bet you it's gonna have a gasket. Yeah. So we got some nice O-rings. I'm gonna be sure to keep these nice and clean, and I'm going to use Sil-Glide on them. There's another gasket right there, and we're gonna make sure to get this thing sealed up good for them. So yeah, stay tuned. On the hub assembly here, comes with the 4 new bolts for it and the snap ring. The orange O-ring obviously goes here. And then the gasket, as you can see, is kind of gonna need to be buffed and cleaned off of there. I've got a nice little scraper tool for that. So I'll get that cleaned off of there, get all those installed in, and then we'll pressurize this. This thing out of here. So I'm gonna give it a road test and we'll see what we can do, if that auto 4-wheel drive is gonna work or not. I don't see why it wouldn't be sealing up, people. That is crazy. Yeah, we'll see what we can do here. Gotta get it out of here. Replaced. Yeah, his tread depth is getting a little flat there, a little thin compared to the rears, which were the fronts. So yeah, got them rotated. We'll go see what we can do. I've got some rubber isolators kind of strapped in there in between the leaf packs. We'll see if that takes away his little rattle over light bumps back there. Find out. This bad boy backed out here. Okay. In 4 high, definitely felt like the axles were engaged there as I was turning. I'm gonna listen for the bumps. Still got some noise back there. Yeah, definitely got noise. That's weird. 4-wheel drive's working though. Woohoo! That's a good sign. All right, well, the auto 4x4 hubs are working good, huh, Blue? Yeah, that one's in auto. So my repair worked so far. Fingers crossed. I was a little nervous. And this one here is in auto as well. Good, but still got a rattle in the rear. The shimming of the front leaves here didn't really do anything. So I'm gonna kind of move to the back and get something in here and see if it's coming from back here. Yep, really cool customer. He wants me to figure it out. Brand new truck, platinum, super nice. He wants this thing to be taken care of right. He wanted to go back to the dealer and they couldn't do it until February. And whether they do it right or not, you know, that's always questionable. So I'm gonna do the best job I can for him and get this thing driving right. We're gonna level it out next week, so I'll get you a separate video on the Ready Lift level kit for the trimmer package.